So you've done your research and have determined that you want to work with OKR. Great. You've already taken the first, most essential step in your journey with OKR. At Perdoo, we've helped thousands of organizations work with OKR. So I can guarantee it's the right decision. And if implemented correctly, there's honestly no looking back. But now, your next concern likely is, when is the right time of year to implement OKR? The answer is anytime. Yes, that simply means you can and should implement OKR at any given time of the year. So let's take a quick look at what it could look like to implement OKR at different times of the year. Before we start though, I want to make a quick side note here. OKR entails change management, which means it's not only a new methodology, but a new mindset and workflow. So if you have that commitment, things like time of year have little impact on the bigger picture. Implementing OKR at the very beginning of the year is the most common and obvious option. New year, new framework, it completely makes sense. It's important to note though that the assumption that this is the only time of year you can implement OKR is incorrect. Implementing OKR mid to the end of the year is equally beneficial, but we'll come to that in a bit. At the beginning of the year, leadership typically goes through a process of annual planning. The new year then presents itself as an opportunity to communicate a revised annual direction and perspective to the organization. This, in fact, aligns well with the OKR implementation and planning process, and therefore naturally lends itself as a good time of year to surface such a change. You have a blank canvas for the entire year ahead, and people are more receptive to a reset, so you can easily leverage such a turning point for the entire organization. Now let's discuss what implementing OKR at other times of the year looks like in practice. Time is a limited resource, and your people are your most valuable asset. So if things aren't operating smoothly or at an optimal level, you're wasting precious resources. Plus, you're likely missing out on great opportunities to help push your organization forward. And quite honestly, it's a very expensive delay. So the solution is to act fast and make changes as soon as possible. When you take the step to implement OKR in the middle of the year, you're put in a position to introspect and align on company priorities, even if that means you're required to pivot completely. That's in fact probably what your company needs. Once you have this clarity, you're then able to clearly communicate purpose and priorities to everyone, creating a space that allows teams and individuals to focus their efforts in the right direction. The truth is that OKR does take time to master. It can even take several cycles before you find your optimum rhythm. But at least you have the time to train that OKR muscle to help you come out stronger once you approach the following year. It's the end of the year, and you're likely thinking it's too late to implement a new framework at this point. So why not just wait for the new year? Now, I understand that logic, but in reality, it's wrong. With the new year around the corner, you have the opportunity to reflect on the year so far and can use your learnings to prepare for the upcoming year. And since OKR is much like learning a new language that involves a switch in how you approach work, don't underestimate the need for dedicated time to educate, train, and prepare. You can then allot Q4 to educate the organization on the OKR anatomy, train your people on the tool where you'll track OKRs, and prepare the documentation that details the process of working with OKR at your organization. This all takes time, and by dedicating this time to preparation, you'll then be ready to hit the ground running in Q1. We've also been asked whether you can start with OKR in the middle of the quarter. Yes, you absolutely can. You'll just need to recalibrate the scope of the OKRs to ensure that you're accounting for the shortened time frame. You can also use this smaller window of time as an opportunity to implement OKR with pilot groups. That way, you have the chance to get a hang of the framework and the tool that you're using. As the next quarter approaches, you'll be better prepared for a wider rollout to the rest of your organization. OKR is a flexible framework, and by no means does it limit when you can start with it. There's no wrong time of year to implement OKR, so my one piece of advice to you would be don't wait. If you need the change or are ready for that change, don't put it on hold for a time of year that presents itself as most beneficial. Now is the best time to start.